Hello everybody and welcome back to the Leeds Lens. We're finally back. Apologies, I've been missing the last few days. Essentially, the truth is, I've just been ill. So apologies for that. But what a week it has been for Leeds United. I think if anyone said going into that Man City game, especially when we went 1-0 down after like 30 odd seconds, that we'd end up this week outside the relegation zone, 15 points, up fantastic second half against Man City, brilliant win against Chelsea, and then a fantastic performance yesterday, or a fantastic result yesterday. I actually think the performance we can pick apart, and obviously that's what we'll do in today's video. But if you'd have said we got 4 points in the last 2 games, I'd have 1, snapped your hand off, and 2, probably called you a madman. So yeah, fantastic situation that Leeds United find themselves in. Also very nice today that Georginio Rutter could help us out, obviously banging that last-minute goal for Brighton today as well against West Ham to drag them into the relegation zone, which means Leeds United come out the week sat in 16th place, having just played Chelsea and obviously just played Liverpool and just played Man City. And now we're going to a run of games where you look at it and you think maybe now we can start to hopefully turn the screw a bit. Go to Brentford, maybe get something there. Then we've got obviously Palace at home, which I think again should be another situation where Leeds United can pick up points. Then we've obviously got Sunderland away as well, with obviously 7 of their players at AFCON. We're in a decent spot at this moment in time, and I think we've got to... It's been quite a negative time to be a Leeds United fan over the last sort of few weeks, for sure, probably since that Forest game, even early before that. I mean, we're still on a bad run, realistically, if you look at a sort of 10-game span. But I think this last week we needed as Leeds fans, because it's given us a massive lift. And now, because I've got to be honest with you, and I think a lot of you, on what I listened to and talked to, a lot of people were almost getting zoned out, thinking, God, we're going to go down. I hate this manager. I hate these players. We're not good enough, blah, blah, blah. And now they've almost dragged us back in. I feel like they've almost dragged us back in. I feel like we're ready to go again now. And now I'm looking at the West Ham celebrating in Leeds Centre today when Rutter scores, because I don't know, I feel like we can do this now. I feel like we're on a path. I feel like we've got formations. We've got this 5-3-2 now. We've seen Daniel Farke adapt when the 5-3-2 wasn't working yesterday, which was fantastic to see as well. Going back to the 4-3-3, which worked perfectly. Even Brendan Aronson, I've said this on the channel, I ain't got any... Brendan Aronson's not good enough to play for Leeds, but when he plays well, we'll give him credit. And even he was brilliant yesterday. I thought even he made an impact when he came on. Thought Nmecha was fantastic when he came on as well, picking up the ball in between the pockets as well, and just causing true chaos. So yeah, perfect all round. I must admit though, yesterday, and I know I'm interested to know what you guys think on this, I really am, but I actually didn't think we played that well at all. I actually thought in the first half, and I felt this was going to happen if I'm being totally honest, I felt we put so much into the Wednesday performance against Liverpool, playing with 29% of the ball, but playing really, really physical when you have to, and winning all your duels, and the way we bullied up Chelsea. I always felt a few days later, which we didn't have much rest, it was going to be very tricky to emulate that performance again, obviously going into the Liverpool game. And I actually felt we were going to lose the Liverpool game, which obviously we were quite close to doing. I almost saw that in the first half. I thought in the first half, everything that we were brilliant against Chelsea, and in terms of, yes, we sat in a block, but we were aggressive when we went to press, and we also picked our moments to press, but when the ball went long as well, we were winning our duels, and we were just a yard sharper. Whereas I felt in that first half against Liverpool, I think people have said, oh, it's because we gave Liverpool too much respect. I don't agree with that, actually. I felt actually the reason we were off it slightly was more because of the fact that we were just knackered, and we were just a yard off it, which is why I think getting the point out of the game makes it so much more important. I even felt the fans, to be honest, yesterday, like I came from my brother, who obviously he sits in the South Stand, my brother, and even he was saying it was a bit more sort of timid yesterday. Again, everyone was a bit like, wow, what a day Wednesday was. I'm knackered to go again on Saturday, and I think obviously that's what we saw on the pitch as well. So to get something out the game, especially in the limbs that we did right at the end with Tanaka obviously scoring at the last minute, was just fabulous. And as I said, it's what we deserved. It summed up a fantastic week. Ollie says we were awful until the subs. Fair play. Yeah, no, it's interesting, Ollie. I didn't think we played well at all, mate. I thought, but I almost felt that was coming, because Liverpool made 4 changes. We made a few changes. Obviously, Gruev came in the team, Okafor came in the team. I don't think either of them, though, are improvements over how they have, or for me, they're quite big downgrades. And I actually felt, to be honest with you, I don't know if you guys agree with this, but I felt like Nmecha and DCL has got to be the way we go up top. Them two are bullies up there against centre-halves. Whereas when you only have one of them and you put them next to Okafor, even though Okafor's a good player in his own right, it's a different sort of profile. And we need both DCL and Nmecha playing for me up front for the 5-3-2 to work in its best form. So I'm really hoping against, obviously, in the next game against Brentford, we go with the two up front again, and we go with Nmecha and we go with DCL, because I think we massively missed Nmecha's game yesterday and what he can bring to this Leeds United team, because Okafor just cannot, and they just don't have the same attributes. So that, I think that was noticeable to me, in my opinion. Easy says, don't get carried away. Farke's hopeless away from home. This is a really good point, actually. It's something I'm going to get onto. His whole belief system is founded on caution and fear. It makes Farke totally understandable as Leeds manager. Well, I don't really agree with the start bit, but what I will say is, and I sort of agree with you, Ethan, we actually have been agreeing more recently, funnily enough, when we've been at heads for a while, but we do actually agree more stuff. I actually do sort of agree with this. I was saying to my brother this today, my dad to this, when we were talking about it. I think we've learned a bit of the last few games in terms of the fact that now we can use a 5-3-2 and that works, and that can be a situation that we use. What I'm still a bit cautious on, and I think Easy probably shares this as well, is we've always been awful away from home. We've always actually been pretty good at home. I think we've played 8 home games now. We've lost 2 of them. And we're actually pretty good at home. We've been good at home, really, if we're playing a 4-back or a 3-back. I think the 3-back obviously worked fantastically against Chelsea in our best performance. But actually, I think we've been pretty good at home all season, really. I can't actually think of a bad performance at home. Maybe you, one of the guys, you can think of a bad performance. I actually can't think of a bad performance at home. So I think the proof, which I think is where he's getting to a bit, the proof will be in the pudding now when we go to Brentford. We can't go to Brentford now and just get slapped. Like, if we go to Brentford and put in a Forest-esque performance or a Brighton-esque performance, I will be furious. And I probably will. I'll be furious with the manager and I'm furious with the players. We have seen the blueprint now. You've showed us you can do it. There's no excuse about the rest now. I felt there was an excuse with rest time going into the Liverpool game, and I felt that would play a factor. But we've got 8 days now until we play the Brentford game, because we play it on the Sunday. So there is no excuse now. We should go into that Brentford game and emulate the performance we saw against Chelsea. Play in the same way, play with that intensity, play with the courage, but also play in the back 5 and be physical, win your duels, that sort of thing. Use what we know this team can do well. And if we see a performance, as I said, like we saw against Forest and like we saw against who was it, against Brighton as well, I'll be absolutely furious, because we've shown now we've got a blueprint. There's no excuse now. But as Easy's saying, the proof is going to be in the pudding now. It's going to be, can we do this away from home? Because, and yes, our home form's pretty good. We've picked up 12 points in 8 games at home, which is fine and fabulous. And that's good, because we've played a lot of good teams at home. We've played Spurs, we've played Liverpool, we've played Chelsea, we've played a lot of good games. We've played Villa as well. So we have played hard games at home and we've done well. But we can't just stay up on home form. We've got to start picking up the odd point away from home. We've got to get to Brentford and try and not get beat. We've got to go to Sunderland a few weeks after and not get beat. And not look like we're just going to stand there and be walked over, in my opinion. Like I saw at Forest and like I saw at Brighton, where for no part of the game, even when we were winning at Forest, did I ever think we were going to win the game. So that is the challenge now for this Leeds United team. But I'm hoping that the last week has showed these players that they are good enough to compete at this level, and showed fact we can play in a certain way and we can play in a 5-back to get the best out of this team. But we have to go back to that for the Brentford game as well. Now we've got to go back to the 5-back. We can't go into that and play a 4-3-3 and it, as I said, be the same as Forest and Brighton. It's so important. That Brentford game is as critical as the last 2 by an absolute mile. They've got to go again and put on a performance for sure. Oleon Tor says Aronson works a lot better as a sub personally. Him and Nonto and Tanaka changed that game. Yeah, I agree. The subs changed the game yesterday. The subs completely changed the game. I also felt, if I'm being totally honest, and if I'm giving a rational viewpoint, maybe we want to talk about this after the game, but I think a few days after, over a day after, we can sort of discuss this. I did felt Liverpool gave us a foothold back into the game personally. I really did. I thought we were done at 2-0. And I know the subs were fantastic and they did well, and all them players they brought on did really well. I can agree with all that. I still do feel personally, that if Kanate doesn't make that mistake and give us a penalty, we don't get anything out of that game personally. I don't think the subs would have made. I think the subs get amplified about the what they made and the impact that they made on the game. But I still do believe personally that if Kanate isn't a complete idiot and pulls down our lad for a penalty, then and where the whole game spirals, I think we were done at 2-0 personally. I really do. So I think that's something to bear in mind. But as I said, I did see it coming, because I just felt we just don't have the rotation in the squad. We've got a good first 11, in my opinion. And when Nmecha's fit and DCL's up front, that is fantastic. And I love them two playing together. It's so fantastic to watch the old-fashioned style and bullying defenders and all that. I absolutely love it. I actually love the long ball. I think it's fascinating to watch and really aggressive. And I think it suits the Ellen Road crowd as well. I think it's all brilliant. But when we lose certain profiles and we lose Nmecha and DCL up front, I think we struggle. When we can't rotate and we don't have time to the rest like we didn't, I think we struggle. But as I said, and we've also struggled away, so we've got to see a performance now away from home. With DCL and Nmecha both a bit fragile, do you think our approach should be to start one of them with Okafor and Pro and then bring on the other after an hour to try preserve them and manage minutes? I don't, mate. I don't. No, I think we should be going for it to start with. I understand your reasoning completely. I get that we couldn't play a game without either of them. But I think you've just got to risk it. And for me right now, when I'm looking at what actually we need in January, genuinely, if we are going to play this 5-3-2 a lot more, I think we need another big centre forward. I think we need another Nmecha or DCL, someone who, if they're injured and not there, then someone can come in and emulate the profile. Because when we don't have one of them missing, the whole dynamic changes. So right now, because we're playing this 5-3-2 more, and we've gone to this more physical style, we've got to go and add an extra profile because we're playing two up front. So we need someone else to be more involved in the game, in my personal opinion. Let's have a look. If 3-5-2 is going to be our main system, what type of players do we need to target in January? Well, there's one, BMG. I also think we probably need another midfield player. I think we also probably need another wing back as well if we're going to do this. And potentially another centre half, but I still think Bornau can fit in there. I think Justin probably has played in the back three before, so I think he can fit in there. But I think there is. I do think there's work to do in January, especially if we're going to play this style. Although I do think it suits quite a lot of the personnel that we've got. I also think Longstaff actually would coming back. I know we haven't seen at all Longstaff in this 5-3-2 system. I think except about 10 seconds against Spurs when we changed it right at the end into the 5-3-2. But we haven't really seen him. But I think he'll work in it as well. Scott, I have always said that the squad is good enough. I've been proven right, but we're not made to defend as much as Farke wants. I disagree with this slightly, mate. I think actually it was like we defended loads in the Chelsea game, mate. We still scored 3 goals. We were still well in the game, but we actually had 29% of the ball. Chelsea had all the ball. And I thought, but actually when we were in that shape and we got into that defensive structure, I thought we looked really good. I actually never thought we were going to concede. I thought because you can manage the game, as we all know, in possession and out of possession. And I thought actually the way Leeds United managed the game out of possession was really good in the Chelsea game. Not as good in the Liverpool game, but we weren't as aggressive. But good in the Chelsea game especially. I think the one thing that was different, as I said, from the Liverpool game to the Chelsea game, and sorry, we're going on a bit of a tangent here. We're not really fully going on the match. I do apologise, but I think it's where the conversation's going. But I think the main difference I saw between Chelsea and Liverpool as well was we didn't have an out ball in Liverpool as much. Like in that first half, they just penned us in, and we didn't have that out ball. Like I feel like against Chelsea, we were always having moments where we were getting it long. Maybe Adebayo or Bradashile or Tosin would make a mistake and we'd be able to get their back four. I felt it was a lot of Liverpool fresh in that first half. And when you are going to play in a deep block, you've got to have an out ball. It can't just be wave after wave after wave. And we missed Nmecha in that for sure. But we've also got to find a way if Nmecha isn't playing, how we're going to get ourselves out of that position. So we're not just defending, because we've got to pose a threat. You've always got to have their defenders thinking at any point we can go and score a goal. And I felt that missed a bit yesterday. But as I said, I'm not going to go too much on yesterday. One, because we got a fabulous result. And number two, because we haven't really played midweek this season and played at the weekend, and we haven't played such slug matches as well. So I'm not going to go in the team at all. It's been fantastic, but the performance probably wasn't that good of a level yesterday, in my personal opinion. Okafor was terrible, lazy, awful work rate. Hope he's dropped on Sunday. I think he will be mixed. I think Nmecha will be back. I just don't think, personally, Okafor suits that system at all. I think, obviously, when we talk about systems, naturally, there's going to be winners and losers in any system. There's no system that's going to fit everyone in the squad. I think this obviously gets the best out of the back four. I think it gets the best out of the wing-backs in the 5-back. As I said, best in the centre-backs. I think it gets the best out of a lot of players. I don't think it gets the best out of our wingers. I don't think it gets the best out of Noah Okafor. I don't think he works in it at all. 5-3-2 seems to work against the better teams, but I think it can work against worse teams too. If we weren't as good versus Liverpool due to Van Dijk's aerial ability, DCL didn't win much. That was one of the issues, mate. As I said, they put Van Dijk on DCL and he just basically bullied him. Nonto did very well to draw the challenge. Konate thought Nonto was going to play it and try block it, but Nonto left it in order to draw the foul. Yeah, he did. Nonto was brilliant, but he shouldn't have had a choice. He shouldn't have been given the option to go down because Konate truthfully shouldn't have made the tackle. And obviously we won't focus on that because we're not. But if you are looking at Liverpool end, then he should have never made that tackle in the first place. Pro should have started for Nmecha and AO should have started. In terms of, instead of, potentially, mate, I still don't think Pro offers anything when he's been on the pitch, though. Like, when he came on, it wasn't like he would have made a good impact. But he's never going to, because I just don't think he suits the way we're playing, in my personal opinion. So I don't think it's ever going to work. Mr. White6 says 4-3-3. I'm not going to read all that, mate. A load of formations. All are good formations to have in the bag. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are. Danny Rose says Steve. I'm not sure what that means. Morning. I'm not sure. One thing I've noticed is Harrison was out of the squad against Villa and unused sub in the last 3. Hopefully that means they're looking to move him on. I just think that, to be honest, I think the games haven't suited Harrison in the last few. I actually think if we're losing in a game and we want to continue playing the 5-3-2, I actually think because Harrison is a winger who can play at wing back, I think he might suit actually a 5-back personally. I actually think he might do. So I think he could work in a 5-back. I don't really want to see that, but I think he could work that. I know we've tried it away. Obviously, we tried it away at Forest, where we played him at wing back and he made a full back and he made an awful mistake. I think in a wing back system, actually, Harrison could work as one of the wing backs personally. Nmecha is out for 2 to 3 weeks, is he, mate? I've seen that mentioned, but I'm not fully sure. You mentioned about 4 profiles we should get. Realistically, we can only get 1 or 2 in January. Yeah, I know, mate. And I think we've got to target a number 9 because I just think we massively missed something yesterday without Nmecha there. And I don't actually think... I think Nmecha's been lauded as like a fantastic signing. He's been really good for us in terms of he's offered 4 goals and his hold-up play is pretty good. I actually think he's quite easy to find other than Nmecha, though. I don't think he's like unbelievable. I just think we're playing so to his style when we play this 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, however you want to look at it, that actually it makes him and Calvert-Lewin better players probably than they actually are. So I think that's good in a sense. It was nice to see a set of results. However, we have more challenges ahead. The journey continues. It does, mate. But at least the journey is continuing now. Whereas I feel like before, honestly, going into that City game, I was getting to a point with it where I was hoping a new manager was going to change it, because at that point I obviously thought the manager was going to go. But I was getting to the point where I was like, we're just going to be back in the Championship here. It's going one way. Whereas I feel like now this has given me a real sense of optimism, which I'm really happy with, to be honest. It's nice, especially when we do this every single day, it's nice to feel like we've actually going somewhere and we actually can stay in this division. Because it was getting to a point, I've got to be honest, where we'd lost like 5 in 6, but it was also like such lifeless performances. And as I said, maybe that was the manager's fault, and obviously we can discuss that in detail, and we have done for a long time. But I was really quite getting just this not like just completely zoned out of it, to be honest. Like I just felt like we were just it was just all sort of going a bit wrong. Why do people want Perrault starting? He's useless at this level, too slow, and he's been bullied by Van Dijk. Yeah, to be honest, bullied by Van Dijk can happen by anybody, and it did happen to Calvert-Lewin. But I agree. I'd move Perrault in January, and I'd use the funds that you get from Perrault to bring in a January that suits someone in January that suits this team. That's what I'd do. Perrault now we can move on because he's been at the club so long and his book value isn't so high, so we can move him on in January. I would personally move Perrault on, and I will bring someone in who suits, who's like another Dominic Calvert-Lewin or Nmecha, because I even feel like even if you're playing a 1 up front, it'd be nice to have 3 of the same profile, because you're not always going to, especially with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Nmecha's injury records, you're not always going to have them available. So I think that would be nice and something we probably should do. Harrison couldn't work in any system. He should be working at another club in January. I do think he can work in a back 5, mate, but I might be wrong. I'm not saying he's going to be brilliant and as good as Goodmanson or Bogue, because I think they've been not understated in the last few days, but I think they've been outstanding in the last 2 games. And I think that that system would very much rely on them 2 being available, because I know Justin's been good when he's played for us at wing back. But I don't think he's got the legs of a Goodmanson or a Bogle to be able to do that role. You've got to have real fitness to be able to get up and down, and I haven't seen that yet from Justin. So I don't think we've got another player. That's the only thing round all this with the 5-3-2 is the 5-3-2 for me requires a lot more profiles that we need than the 4-3-3. And I think with the 5-3-2, to play at our best, we need 2 big men up front. We need Bogle and Goodmanson both fit, and we really need Rodon, Strauch and Biol all fit to play it. Whereas I think with the 4-3-3, there's more ways you can play that. And if we don't have certain players, you can still make it work. But you've got to stick with it while you've got the players fit. Okay, so if a striker is priority, give us some names. I'm struggling to come up with any. Oh, big physical striker. Oh, mate, I'd have to come back to you on that. I can't think off the top of my head. I'll get someone for sure, but I can't think off the top of my head. Every one of our squad can contribute, even Harrison. What they need is the right system for the game. Yeah, I do agree with you. I do agree. I think a lot of our players are good enough. I don't think they're fantastic, but when you put them in a system that fits them and fits their style, it works. The only thing is that obviously some players suit one style and some players suit another style. Like I think Nonto can be a really effective player for us. He's never going to work in a 5-3-2 though, because he doesn't suit any of the positions. I know some have said he can play up front next to Nmecha or DCL. I don't really see it, to be honest. And even Okafor is much more physical than Nonto, and even he couldn't do it in the system. So yeah, I'm not so sure. Everyone's saying get rid of Harrison. He's still 2.5 years left in his contract on 90 grand. Who's taking him? Yeah, mate, they're not. That's kind of the problem. Ampadu, Gabby, and Bogle are all one booking away from a ban. Yeah, they are, mate. And I think that they're going to get banned. Like that is going to happen at some point, and that's going to be a real problem when they do, because they've got to survive. You've got to survive 19 games, and what have we played? Is it 15 games we've played now? So we've got 4 more games to not get a booking, and you can actually get it on the 19th game as well. He's not going to survive 4 more, in my opinion. It's not survived 4 more. But now up front would be more useful than Pro like yesterday. I saw someone say this, I can't remember who it was. Maybe one of you guys might have watched it as well. Someone said when we're playing from a set piece, or when we're playing from a goal kick and we're going long, maybe we can have Stack go occupy the number 9 role with Dominic Calvert-Lewin when he's not there, and then put Okafor into midfield in that particular moment, and then obviously Stack drops back in afterwards. But maybe when we take the goal kicks, he can play as the number 9, and I think that could be I think stuff like that could be a really effective strategy. So I think that's something we've got to look at. I thought that's a really good point. Well done, Leeds. There's trouble at Anfield, mate. There is definitely trouble at Anfield for sure. I mean, we've caused an absolute uproar, and to be honest with you, I didn't realise actually how probably not hated Liverpool are, but how disliked Liverpool are by so many clubs. Like, as a Leeds fan, I've got to be honest, I'm not too bothered about Liverpool. They're not one of my teams that I'd really dislike at all. In fact, I don't really like. They're not like a team I love, but I'm neutral on them basically. But when we scored against yesterday, the amount of fans that were loving it, Newcastle fans, you saw Everton fans going mad that Leeds have scored, even Man United fans going mad. Like, we were sort of praised by basically all the top, loads of clubs yesterday. I actually couldn't believe how much love Leeds United were getting from just the wider world, because it's been an interesting one with Leeds, because we've been not hated, but we are hated as a football club naturally. But we've been written off that we're just going to go down by fans. Oh, it's Burnley, they're as bad as Leeds are all going down with Wolves. That's going to be that was the narrative, and fair enough, the results were sort of saying that way as well, and I could understand that. But it's nice now that we're not just being told by every rival fan and every sort of neutral fan that we're just going to get relegated. It's nice that some fans now at least think we're in a scrap and we could stay up now. And that's nice, I must admit, because saying you're going to get relegated, it's obvious who's going down. It'll just be Leeds and Leeds, Wolves and Burnley. It's just like, oh, God, shut up, will you? I mean, as I said, there was nothing to go off, so I got it. But, you know... I don't know, as a fan of the football club, it was beyond frustrating. But as I said, and this is why I want to sort of get onto this video, is that we've done well in this last week, and it's been a great week for Leeds United. There's no doubt about it. It's given us all more confidence. It's much more optimistic. I think the fans more back on board, potentially with Farke as well. I think some of them. And now I think now the proof will be in the pudding now, because we've got to kick on now. We have to kick on. We've had our blip. We lost 5 games in 6 at one point. We can't go and do that again now. We've got to move on now, and we've got to push on, and we've got to go into Brentford. We can't lose Brentford. We need to get, for me, 4 points in the next 3 games. You've got Brentford away, you've got Crystal Palace at home, and you've got Sunderland away. That needs to be at least 4 points, because the run after that, again, I think we've got like Anfield, and we've got a crap run of games again. I think we've got Man United in there as well. It's not a good run of games. I know Man United are very beatable at this moment in time, but it's I can't remember exactly who it is, but it's bad. And to be honest with you, I was looking at the fixtures yesterday or a few days ago, and they're absolutely awful, really, until March. Like, there's like a few decent games in there, but realistically, we've got a bad run all the way till March now, where you have a bit of respite at times. I think we've got Fulham at home in the time, and you've got like a few decent games. But for the most part, it's pretty much bad fixture, bad fixture, bad fixture. But then when you get to March, actually, it all turns. And then we've got a lot of good games. Like, I think after March, we played Brentford at home. We've got Wolves at home. We've got Burnley at home. I think we've got Brighton at home. I'm not saying Brighton's an unbelievable game at home, but it's a decent game at home. And we've actually got a really good run. So I'm looking at this moment in time going, if we can be in and around it by the end of March, so maybe even if we're in the relegation zone and we're like, say, 2 or 3 points inside it, with the games we've got from March onwards, I think the last 10 games it actually is, are pretty good for Leeds United. I think we've got Spurs away, which is not ideal, and we've got Man United away. But besides that, it actually looks really quite a good run for Leeds. So I'm just hoping we can get to that point and in a good position, because I think if we get to that point in a good position, we can definitely then push on with the good home games we've got and stay up. But the aim is going to be to not be sucked away and not be dragged away by now until March. That's going to be the aim for this Leeds United team now. Don't get thrown away with it. in my opinion. In my opinion, Salah was well out of order. If you're not being picked, it's either tactical or it's the manager that thinks there's a better player. No one has the right to start regardless of their credit. I do agree with this, mate. Obviously, I don't want to talk too much about Liverpool, but I felt with the Salah situation, to be honest with you, maybe this is old school, maybe this is wrong, and I know he's got a lot of credit at Anfield. And look, I'm not a Liverpool fan, don't listen to my opinion, really. But from an outsider's looking in, for me, I'd probably want my player to work to get back into the team, work hard in training, and then when you get your chance, play really well, take it. And I tell you what, if he works hard in training, gets back in the team, plays really well, he will be in the team. He's a good player, he'll be in the team. So, but saying that you've got, basically going to the idea that you've got a God-given right to be in the 11, I thought was madness. And we actually play them soon, so hopefully we play them in about 5 games time at Anfield. So hopefully we're in and around it by they're still in a bit of a mess, and we can get some at Anfield as well. That'd be ideal. Defo staying up, march on together, says Malcolm. Thank you very much, Malcolm. Easy says Farke will keep taking AO out of the team, especially away from home. This is the main reason we'll get beat, because our creative players are second class to Farke. I think this is an interesting point. I didn't feel like the AO Tanaka move against Liverpool was anything to do with that, if I'm being honest. I thought the reason that Tanaka came out of the team was basically because he ran himself into the ground against Chelsea and we just needed rotation. I don't think we'd have seen as good a performance from Tanaka if he didn't have that rest. We also don't want to get these players injured as well, which obviously is to bear in mind. You've got to look after your players. Played a massive slog match away at Man City. Played up, 67 minutes, I think it was, against Chelsea. I don't think he was probably ready for another start, personally. So I think that's why I didn't start. I don't think it was to do with because Farke didn't want to play him. I think all of us accept now, I might be wrong, but I think all of us feel like our best midfield three is Ampadu, Stack, Tanaka. I think that's what everyone thinks. I think Stack, by the way, has been outstanding the last 2 games, and I think he needs more credit than he's probably getting. I was really concerned about the Stack side, and I actually called it out a few weeks ago that it's not looking as good as people maybe at the start thought it was. He's proven me completely wrong. In the last 2, he's been brilliant. I thought he was our best player against Chelsea, for me. And I thought he was pretty good last night as well, and obviously scored the goal. And he's also picking up goal contributions now. I mean, he got a goal last night, and he basically got an assist as well for the cross for Tanaka. Got an assist with Biol for in the obviously against Chelsea as well. So yeah, I think he's a bit of an unsung hero for me. Sunderland have 8 or 9 players going to the AFCON. Yeah, they do, mate. And I think that's going to be... We are playing them at the perfect time, in my opinion, Sunderland. I think we really are. So I'm just hoping that we can get something in that game. And I think we should, actually. I think we should go to Sunderland and get something. I think set up in a 5-3-2 and go to Sunderland and get something. You just got, as I said, we've got to start picking, because we haven't got a lot of good away games left now. We've already played Wolves away, we've already played Burnley away, we've already played Fulham away. We've played a lot of the good games away already. So we're gonna, in the other good games away from home that we've still got to go to Sunderland, which I don't think is a bad one. We've still got to go to Brentford, who were still in the bottom half. So again, these are the home games we're going to have to pick up points in, because let's be honest, when you go into our, I know we've played Man City and Arsenal away, we've still got to go to Chelsea away, Stamford Bridge, we've still got to go to Liverpool, which will be hard. I know they're in a bit of a mess at the moment. That's still been our game. We've still got to go to Villa, still got to go to Newcastle. There's a lot of home games still that are going to be really hard for Leeds United. They really are. So we've got, in the home games that we've got a chance that are going to be easier on paper, we've got to pick up points. So I'm looking at Brentford and Sunderland thinking they're some of our best home games, away games that we've got left to play. We're going to have to pick up points in them. By the way, the atmosphere in the back of the Kop was unreal last 20 minutes yesterday. My first time in there since Newcastle at home under Big Sam. Yeah, apparently the atmosphere... I mean, to be honest with you, Ellen Road, there was a Chelsea fan that came out and said it after the game, didn't he? And said that Ellen Road's the best atmosphere in the country. I think a lot of Leeds fans have known this for a long time. A lot of us have obviously gone to quite a few away grounds. It just is the best. The South Stand is probably, I think, the best stand in the country. In terms of an atmosphere that it creates, like it is mental in there, and the Kop's probably at a similar level as well. But I honestly think if we were Burnley and had Burnley's atmosphere, no offence to Burnley, there's a lot of clubs like it. I actually don't think we'd have got a draw yesterday. Genuinely, I think that's how important Ellen Road is. I'd never think you can understate how important Ellen Road is. I think it's so important. The fact that we were so bad away and so good at home, I think has to speak volumes. I know we're obviously set up in a different way, I think, at home at times, but I think a lot of the praise as well as the team and obviously the manager has to go to the fans. We are so lucky that our fans are just unbelievable, but they just are. It's always been the same, hasn't it? We are just fantastic fans. And it's such a positive for us. It really is. And it's a sort of like that will keep us up. Danny says, smash a like and subscribe, please. Thank you very much, Danny. And if you could listen to Danny and do that, that would be obviously fantastic. As I said, you guys know I hate asking for likes and subscriptions, but I literally watch my likes and subscriptions when I say it and when I don't. And literally the videos that I say it just gets more. Because I don't think people don't want to like. I think people just forget to like, which I do the same when I watch other people's content. So I do get it. But yeah, if you could like and subscribe, that would be brilliant. I was told Stack was awful. Cough, cough, Scott. Told you he was good. Yeah, you did. Mate, to be honest with you, I'll hold my hands up. I've got a lot wrong in the last few weeks. I think what it was, as I said, is I was so disillusioned with where we were at this moment in time. And I was honestly on the boat that we were going down and I just thought the squad's not good enough. I'm just not we just can't pass the ball through midfield. It would drive me mad if I'm being honest. And I think I probably went maybe too far on a lot of it, and I can own up to that. But look, the results weren't helping us. We were losing every bloody week, so it made it quite tricky. Easy. Liverpool have a single players who cost more than our whole squad. Farke's to manage the adapt squad carefully, especially Nicole Williams. Yeah, I agree. I thought that. Stack, AO and Longstaff are our best three in midfield. Interesting. I disagree, actually. I think Ampadu's been an unsung hero in the last few weeks. I think he's been brilliant. I actually think Ampadu... I was really critical of Ampadu after the Forest game because I think when Ampadu's at his best, he's really physical and he gets involved and he gets stuck in. When Ampadu tries to be a footballer and tries to be a dictator of the ball, I don't think he's good enough. I don't think he's the sort of man who can dictate a game like you see a Zubomendi do. I know Zubomendi's a new level, but I'm on about that sort of midfield player. He's not a dictator of play, Ampadu. He's a ball winner. That is what he is. And when he plays in a ball winning mode and not in I'm going to be a brilliant footballer on the ball and dictate the play and pass this ball through the channels, and he doesn't play that way, I think you see a much better Ethan Ampadu. And I called it out that in the Forest game, I thought again he was going that way again and trying to be a dictator, and he's not that player. He's not that player at all. But I also think I've said this so many times. I think Ethan Ampadu's captaincy goes unrecognisable. Like he's such an important cog for this Leeds United team, and our record with him / without him speaks records for me in terms of that. I think he's such an important player for us. I really do. And as I said, I think he's been. Since Forest, we played Villa. I thought he was really good in that game. We've played Man City away. Thought he was really good in that game. We played Chelsea at home. He was good in that game. And Liverpool, and he was really good in that game as well. We'll see. He's obviously going to be missing in a few weeks because he will get booked in one of the next 4 games. And we'll see. We might see that midfield easy, but I don't think it'll work. I don't think they're as good. Ampadu has been better in the last few games. Yeah, he has. Stop skipping my comments and consider liking. And I'll consider liking. Which we haven't ever missed, mate. Rota's goal today might end up being as crucial as any that he scored for us. Yeah, I know, mate. I was buzzing with that. Well, it really was. Snacker. If we beat Brentford and Sunderland, we'll be up there with both of them. Yeah, we will. If we beat Brentford, mate, it's looking really rosy. It's looking really, really rosy. Apologies, mate. I sometimes I have a few comments and I don't even realise that I've come through. I do try read them all. I really do. To be fair, before Man City, we'd lost loads and played awfully. So it's no surprise that people were thinking Farke out. Played so much better in the last 3 against tough teams. Yeah, I completely agree. I think before that Man City game, or even maybe definitely at half time that Man City game, either you're in the I think you were either in the camp that Farke's not good enough and the squad maybe is, or you're in the camp that no manager is going to save this squad because the squad's so bad. And maybe both camps were wrong, to be honest, because Farke's proved in the last few games that he can pick up points, and obviously the players have proved that they can also do well as well. But as I said, I think you were either in the camp. I probably shaded more towards. I understood both, to be fair, but I probably shaded more towards the players are just not good enough. Whereas now I think the players can do a job. I still believe, I've got to be honest, that on the ball we're not good at all. We've got to be anti-ball. We're terrible on the ball. We just can't play a ball through midfield. We just lose it every time. And these teams are too good at pressing. We have to go long. But when we go long, we're playing a really direct structure. We can do well at this level. We can. And I maybe thought there wasn't a structure that would work. And obviously, well, I've been proved wrong, haven't I, truthfully. I thought we had to be on 15 points before the City game and expect to lose. Turns out we got 15 points the hard way. Yeah, we did. We did. And we're still on the points per game, aren't we? We're still at 15 points, 15 games, having now played a lot of the big teams. Obviously, we're now nearly halfway through the season, so naturally you're going to play half the big teams. But we've had a tricky run, to be fair, and we've done well. Anyway, thanks all for watching as always, people. I will see you tomorrow. But of course, tomorrow
It is at 7. It's gonna be at 7 because I think there's an 8 p.m. game in there tomorrow. So we always do the show early when there's a game on at 8. So we're back at 7 tomorrow, talking all through. We'll also get into the relegation battle a bit more, what this means for Leeds United. It should be a really interesting episode tomorrow, actually. So yeah, stay around for that. Clive says we're not terrible on the ball. I think we are, mate. I think we've seen. If we weren't terrible on the ball, mate, no one would be asked to play along. We'd be saying go through midfield, but we can't. We actually just cannot play through midfield. Even our form dips again. It's hard to see manager can do a whole lot better than Farke, at least with this season. Yeah, potentially, mate. I think that's gonna be interesting. Liquid foot. Our second goal against Liverpool was passing poetry. Yeah, it was good, but I really don't think we're good enough on the ball. Anyway, thanks all for watching as always, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. and we'll talk all through the relegation battle because it's looking much brighter. Let's be honest. Right, see you later. Bye for now.